Rudolph Valentino had it. James Dean had it. Elvis Presley had it. And Corey Haim had it. That rarest trifecta of looks, charm, and raw magnetism that adds up to what we call star power.
Beware, beware, beware of the big green dragon that sits on your doorstep. He eats little boys, puppy ducktails, and big fat snails.
Action.
Hi, I'm Corey Haim. I'm 17 years old, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. I've been in the movie business ever since I've been 10 years old. You might have seen me in my first movie debut with Terry Garr, Firstborn. Or you might have seen me as that adorable nerd, Lucas. Or more recently, I portrayed Diane Wiest's youngest son in the vampire thriller, The Lost Boys. Or, of course, as Corey Feldman's best friend in License to Drive. Growing up on movie sets has its ups and its downs. I mean, sure, it's great. You get lots of attention, only 3 hours a day of school, there's makeup and wardrobe, movie premieres, limousines. It all sounds like fun. But when you're 12 or 13 years old, you're very, very impressionable. And I know it's easy to get off track.
By the time he turned 18, Corey Haim had already achieved what thousands of hopefuls flocking to Hollywood every year dream of. A string of hit films had catapulted him to matinee idol status. His trademark puppy dog eyes and lopsided grin were everywhere, and the adulation of his fans had reached a fever pitch. Success, fame, and acclaim had come so seamlessly for Corey that he seemed almost anointed for stardom. And to be sure, Hollywood gave teenage Corey Haim the star treatment, all right. Fancy cars, flashy clothes, beautiful girls, luxurious McMansions, wild parties. For a time, he got to enjoy the finer things in life. And while his partying may have begun to get a little out of hand, Corey would have never guessed that by 1989, his shelf life was up, and his best years were already behind him. For 2 decades, he scrambled desperately to get back into the limelight, while the drugs that had once given comfort and sanctuary eroded him from within. His comeback efforts drew sympathy and support from fans, but a return to a working career was not in the cards for Corey. And on March 10th, 2010, he was found unresponsive in the Toluca Lake apartment he shared with his mother, Judy. The search for answers spawned a veritable cottage industry of half-truths and snow jobs. Today, we're going to try to sort out fact from fiction and try to find some answers to the question that was being asked years before he passed away. Why did Corey Haim have to die? Act 1.
The direction in my life right now that I'm trying to, proceed with in the business is gradually from being the little boy from the younger, brother, trying to get to be the older brother or the only brother.
As it were, Corey Ian Haim was born to play the younger brother. His sister Carrie was 2 years old when he was born in Toronto, Ontario on December 23, 1971. Israeli-born Judy Haim worked in computing as a data processor, while father Bernie worked in sales. The Haims moved to Quebec for a time before returning to the Toronto area. Having to change schools and start over repeatedly made socializing a challenge for young Corey. To help him overcome this, Judy enrolled him in drama and improv classes. Corey also took to hockey and, while at Zion Heights Secondary School, was reportedly scouted for Ontario Junior League.
Okay, now it's hard to see me. I'm number 2.
Oh, number 2, that narrows it down, sure.
We're the red team, and here I go. See, I snagged the puck from the guy. Yeah, and I race up. See, he trips me, and...
That's you sliding across on your belly?
He saved it, unfortunately.
That was pretty...
Long... God.
That was fun. Now is your idol like Wayne Gretzky?
Wayne Gretzky's unbelievable.
Yeah.
You know, the puck follows him.
But by age 10, show business would become the locus of the Haim family.
He was adorable. Everybody took to him so fondly. It was always very entertaining.
When Corey was 9, his older sister Carol brought him along to an audition.
I did 2 commercials, one for Sears and one for Furniture Bankruptcy thing, and it was like these funny commercials. It was really funny.
What did you have to do?
Well, the Sears thing was a model thing where they casted these 2 people as my parents, and I was just laying there just like going like this, like had to pull like a thing, just like look like all sexual on camera, and I was like a little boy.
Corey picked up work in local commercials before landing a recurring role as Larry on the CBC children's educational series, The Edison Twins.
So this is the big time, huh? You think these little green guys are coming back or what? Yep. Freak me out.
Around this time, he also made his feature film debut, playing Christopher Collett's kid brother in Michael Apted's Firstborn.
Well, doesn't it take a lot of money to open a restaurant?
No, not if you open up a sushi bar. All you need is some raw fish and a knife.
Before filming had begun, Bernie and Judy Haim divorced. Corey reportedly blamed himself and his career for breaking up his family. Bernie soon remarried while installing himself as Corey's full-time manager. His first day on set, 12-year-old Corey was assaulted by co-star Peter Weller. The actor's studio alumnus was reportedly in character when, in response to an attempt at paying a compliment, he grabbed the child by the collar, threw him against the wall, and yelled, "Don't ever talk to me after a take, you little shit." 3 assistant directors were required to intervene. Describing the incident in a 2000 interview, Corey noted, "I was terrified. Fucking freaked."
I long to have your arms around me and feel your body. Whoa, radical!
For his next film role, Corey played C. Thomas Howell's kid brother in 1985's Secret Admirer, co-starring future college prep guru Lori Loughlin.
Me? Oh, I have no standards.
Buddy! Need some money to buy a decent lunch.
Okay, Mom, but decent lunch could be pretty expensive.
No tacos.
Gracias, señora.
His turn as the scrappy paraplegic Marty in the movie adaptation of Stephen King's werewolf thriller Silver Bullet earned a nod from Roger Ebert in a review that otherwise panned the film.
1, the story is not credible. 2, the characters are laughable. 3, the child's ailment is exploited.
This movie is right down the middle, a parody of the entire Stephen King thing.
I think the stuff involving the kid in the wheelchair is not a parody. I don't think that's a parody, Roger.
I think it is, and I think the fact
the
proof that it's a parody is that it's a souped-up wheelchair.
I think
that goes 60 miles an hour.
He appeared alongside Liza Minnelli and A Christmas Story star Scott Schwartz in the TV movie A Time to Live, where his portrayal of a child struggling with muscular dystrophy would go on to earn him his first Young Artist Award.
Oh, Mom, I'm not angry.
So, is there anything else I can do for you?
Uh-huh. Put the covers over my head.
Corey turned 14 on the set of what would come to be his breakout performance, the title role in 1986's Lucas, where he plays an advanced placement high school student handicapped by physical frailty and social awkwardness. His adeptness at puppy-like expressions added depth and substance to the character's vulnerability beyond the 80s trope of thick-framed glasses. During filming, Corey became infatuated with co-star Cary Green, who played his romantic interest, and his unrequited attraction helped him deliver a viscerally believable performance, which netted him a second Young Artist Award.
I had a first love.
Really? Already?
Yeah, when I was real little.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm sure she did. I'm sure you did.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's why it's realistic. It's a well put, realistic film.
Mm-hmm. Now, what did you draw on when you were going? You said you've already had a first love. Did you use that experience when you were trying to fall in love with her in this film?
In real life, I did actually fall in love with this young lady here.
You guys are like in love now?
No. I was in love with her. Older woman here.
Oh, I know. Well, that's the trend now.
Yes.
I didn't know.
We were, like, in this elevator going up to a room. We're going swimming. I asked her, go out with me to a movie or something.
I thought it was 10 years old.
And I thought she was 11. I thought she was 11, and she goes to me, I'm 18 years old. And I just started blushing. I said,
The thrill can kill. The drug dealers need to know that we want them out of our schools, neighborhoods, and our lives.
1986 was also the year Nancy Reagan introduced her anti-drug abuse campaign, Just Say No. The Reagans' outsized vilification of drugs while ignoring the AIDS epidemic lingered from Ronnie's tenure as governor of California. The hippie movement had sprouted up under Reagan's watch, and he'd never forgiven himself for his failure to snuff it out.
Good evening.
You don't give us enough as a husband and father.
His wife, meanwhile, was still bitter over her days in Tinseltown. Nancy Davis never became anything approaching a household name, in spite of her reputation as one of the hardest-working starlets on the casting couch. And so she had to settle for Jane Wyman's sloppy seconds and a second life in political prostitution. As First Lady, Nancy now had the power to make Hollywood's A-list her personal bitches. All in the name of protecting the children, of course.
Hello, I'm Corey Feldman. Did you know that crack cocaine has become a national concern? This drug is an epidemic sweeping across the country. Crack cocaine is knocking on the doors of many communities, and I'm concerned about the effect it's having in our society. Please, lend a helping hand by joining me and others in the fight to get crack cocaine off the streets.
With the success of Lucas under his belt, Corey had the confidence and encouragement to move from Canada to live full-time in LA. One of his first steps after relocating was to reach out to a co-star from his next film.
You better go back or you end up dead.
Corey Scott Feldman was only a few months older, but already a showbiz veteran. Beginning at age 3, with an appearance in a TV spot for McDonald's gift certificates, Feldman had over 100 TV credits to his name. His scene-stealing turns in Gremlins, The Goonies, and Stand By Me earned him some name recognition among the newest generation of actors. Feldman had reportedly jockeyed for a role in an upcoming teenage vampire movie that was in development for production summer of 1986, but was initially turned down. The Brat Pack of the 1980s was primarily defined by the ensemble casts of 2 movies in particular, John Hughes' The Breakfast Club and Joel Schumacher's St. Elmo's Fire. Schumacher's follow-up The Lost Boys would feature an A-plot led by Brat Pack adjacent Jason Patric, Kiefer Sutherland, and Jamie Gertz, and a B-plot where kid brother Sam Emerson, played by Corey Haim, teams up with the Frog Brothers, played by Corey Feldman and Jameson Newlander.
Lucas, everybody was like, he's so cute, he's such a little nerdy kind of guy, and his Silver Bullet, I was in a chair, and A Time to Live, I had muscular dystrophy, I portrayed a kid who was dying. His mom was freaking out. So this is pretty much my first chance to people just say, hey, he's a dude, gnarly.
As life began to mirror art, Haim and Feldman quickly developed a circle of celebrity friends that would be seen together frequently. This new who's who of young Hollywood included Silver Spoon stars Ricky Schroeder and Alfonso Ribeiro, Nicole Eggert and Alyssa Milano of Who's the Boss, and triple threat Scott Grimes.
Lead the children are the future. Teach them well, let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
Tell me, dragon, do you eat little boys? Puppy ducktails and big fat snails?
Alfie's Soda Pop Club was a pop-up discotheque that hosted weekly dances exclusively for minors who worked in the industry. 35-year-old Alfie Hoffman was an industry gadfly who largely skated by on the prestige of his father, Bobby Hoffman, a high-profile casting director at the time.
Many of the hit shows that were on TV at the time, from Happy Days to Laverne and Shirley to Mork and Mindy, all the top shows, and many of the shows that I guest appeared on as a kid, because I went from one show to the next to the next. So when you got an invite to go to Bobby Hoffman's private party, this was a very big thing.
For a Soda Pop Club, Alfie teamed up with 17-year-old Randy Miller, founder of Original New York Seltzer, who sponsored these events. In a 2004 interview for Vice magazine, Corey recalled that Feldman had invited him to check out the first night, and the two somehow ended up as hosts for the club's debut. Randy Miller performed a stunt jump from the 11th floor of the Hotel Mondrian that evening, which was turned into a TV spot for New York Seltzer.
sometimes I felt so good.
The two Coreys and their junior Brat Pack became regular fixtures at these events from 1986 to 1989. And while no open displays of sex or drug use might have been found at Alfie's, the brew of unsupervised adolescent rising stars and the shady adult friends the proprietor began to bring around ensured an inevitable undercurrent of sordid behavior at the purportedly squeaky clean weekly happenings.
Is that him?
Mm-hmm.
That's him. The man who abused you. Did you give his name to the LAPD?
Yes. Okay.
The man whose picture I just showed to Corey, his name is Alfie Hoffman.
Good love, now give me that sweet, sweet love. Good love, now give me that sweet, good love. Good love, now give me that honey I love. Good love.
Corey would later have this to say about Alfie Hoffman.
I got really sick and tired of Alfie, to be honest with you. I don't think he's a good human being, and you can print that shit too. I lost complete respect for Alfie Hoffman. Alfie sucks, point fucking blank. He's a piece of shit, a user. He had all of us and he thought he was the shit. Randy Miller is one of the coolest people I've ever met. Alfie was always trying to steal Randy's light and get in the way and take it all over. You don't do that to someone who's sponsoring your fucking club.
The article ends with a voicemail from Corey.
When you discuss Alfie's Soda Pop Club, he had a weird personality, but he never, ever, ever, ever offered us drugs, booze, liquor, anything bad at all as far as substance abuse goes. It was for the kids, and that's just what we were, just a bunch of kids.
You better go back or you end up dead. You got no place to stay.
Accounts differ considerably, but it seems that Feldman introduced Corey to Dominic Brascia around this time. At age 15, Feldman had fought for his emancipation after years of mismanagement and alleged embezzlement on the part of his parents.
His father and I did drugs. We didn't go around getting wasted all the time or high, or I didn't go get out a gram of coke to go on an interview during the day or anything like that. I was never like addicted to any drug. I'm not going to deny it.
One time during the shoot, well, I was up in Santa Cruz. My mother had been out all night partying with the crew members and doing coke and things like that. I said, well, the only option is to go with my father. And my father said, sure, yeah, you can come stay with me.
Brascia was 29 at the time, and later commented on befriending a child half his age.
Soon after moving in with his father, Corey met actor Dominic Brascia, who could not believe the living conditions of his new friend.
And he was living like in a slum. I mean, this was a terrible apartment, and he was sleeping on the couch, and you were wondering where all the money was going. And his dad threw him out of the house because of that. And here he was, this little kid who had starred in all these movies, making tons of money, and he's about to be on Hollywood Boulevard with a suitcase.
I'll have to continue staying at
Dominic
Brascia, since he seemed like a responsible guardian, at least in the eyes of the court.
When Feldman and Haim began hanging out together, Brascia was reportedly infatuated with Haim and begged Feldman to introduce him. One night while partying it up, Feldman obliged, and between rails of cocaine, Brascia performed oral sex on Corey.
You let me get around in my life, man, raped, so to speak, when I was about 14 and a half, and I'm saying this right now, by the guy you used to hang out with, and tell me I'm 14, take responsibility. You know exactly what I'm talking about. What'd you do, man, when you saw that going down when I was 14 to me? What'd you do? You knew about it. Besides being his best friend, what'd you do? What'd you do? All is what you did, man.
I believe
Lines of cocaine with me. God bless you.
You want to talk?
In all likelihood, this abuse was ongoing, as Judy Haim would later recall having to intervene when she witnessed horseplay between the two begin to get out of hand.
His friend, Dominic Brascia, was the one that he introduced my son to as soon as they met, at 15 and a half, as soon as we moved to Los Angeles.
My mom walked in on a situation.
His own abuser, which was Corey Feldman's friend, Dominic Brascia. Dominic Brascia is one person that I know that my son ever talked about. Nobody's ever mentioning Dominic. Why isn't anyone ever mentioning Dominic?
It's not too late, and I will soon discover the answer. Looking for some answers. Oh,
Meanwhile, art mirrored life in a morbid sense when Corey starred in a short-lived sitcom for NBC, Roomies. In it, Corey plays 14-year-old college student Matthew, who cohabitates with an older man, in this instance, 40-something ex-Marine Nick, played by Burt Young. A clear attempt to cash in on the success of Lucas, Roomies was canceled after 8 episodes in the spring of 1987.
What's that slime you're putting on your head?
Mousse.
What's it for?
Gives your hair more body. Makes it look thicker.
Let me try that.
The Lost Boys was released July 31st, 1987. The on-screen chemistry between Haim and Feldman was compounded by their shared first name, and their next project, License to Drive, was developed as a showcase for the two Coreys as a duo.
You've seen Corey Haim and Corey Feldman hitting big in such films as Gremlins, The Goonies, Lucas, Stand By Me, and The Lost Boys. But now these popular young stars are riding with another wild and crazy teenage tale in 20th Century Fox's new comedy, License to Drive.
Les is kind of, your everyday average kid.
Corey Haim turned 16 during the production and would later point to the shooting of License to Drive as the point when his substance use escalated to problematic levels.
Buckle up, son. It's the real world out here.
Corey Feldman started smoking weed while working on Stand By Me.
We kind of had our bad moments too, but just like the movie. And it's only natural when you're, with these guys.
And acknowledges experimenting with coke on the set of The Lost Boys, by which time the still 15-year-old was already partying with the likes of Sam Kinison and porn actor Ron Jeremy. Feldman soon became infamous for challenging friends to coke-offs.
You have a time in your life where there's something that you really want to do, and you look for the most crazy and outrageous thing that you possibly could imagine.
Corey Haim had begun with beer drinking during the making of Lucas, tried weed for the first time while shooting The Lost Boys, and quickly graduated to cocaine. Within a year and a half, cocaine use escalated to crack smoking.
Wait, there's Corey Haim. Corey Haim, come here for a second. He's in the movie with me. This is Corey Haim. He was in Lost Boys. And he was in the movie License to Drive, which is coming out in August. And we're doing that movie together, too. Yep.
Meanwhile, as quickly as principal photography wrapped up on License to Drive, the two Coreys went to work on their next project. Dream a Little Dream was, to say the least, bizarre from the outset. Writer, producer, director Mark Rocco must have wanted to follow up his ode to the LA rock circuit, Scenes from the Gold Mine, with something simultaneously more mainstream and envelope-pushing. What resulted was a body swap vehicle in the vein of Freaky Friday, Big, Like Father Like Son, or vice versa, but with ham-fisted attempts at twists incorporating transcendental meditation and alpha waves that only serve to convolute the plot.
Jason is trying to intersect with the dream state while he's awake so he can live longer with his wife,
Have you all seen the movie?
And Corey Feldman and Jason Robart, they both have dreams, and their dreams intersect, and a whole bunch of conflicts start, and it's really wild.
You got to be Copernicus to understand. This is deep, man.
It's deep. It goes deep.
Deep.
Yeah.
Adding to the mess, Feldman, who played the lead role this time around, had by now graduated to heroin use.
Anyway, so me and Jason changed bodies, and this is my best friend. His name is Dinger in the movie. And I've got long black hair in the movie. They're going to put extensions on, so it's like 2 inches longer. Thank you. This is my hairstyle. It's beautiful.
Thanks to Mark Rocco's inability to rein in a star, Feldman was given the freedom to indulge his obsession with stylizing himself after friend and hero Michael Jackson.
Is it true that Michael Jackson gave you a hand?
Well, me and Michael are friends, but he didn't help me. Just all the stuff I do is on my own.
But it looks so much like him when you're dancing.
Well,
all these little moves you make. It's just like Michael Jackson.
Well, I suppose that's a good compliment.
He must be a good influence on you, then.
Yes, he is. He's a good influence. But see, also, something is that it's a style. you know, it's a style of dancing. It's not necessarily that it's just like Michael Jackson, because, you know, you look at Janet Jackson or Bobby Brown, or, you know, it's all the same style of dancing, you know what I mean?
There you go. License to drive. Go see it at local theaters. It's gonna rock.
Near you.
Later, we gotta go to school. Bye.
Released July 6, 1988, License to Drive was a box office success, raking in $22 million on an $8 million budget. Both Corys would go on to win a Young Artist Award for this film. That summer, Cory filmed the Dean Koontz sci-fi thriller, Watchers, for which he would be nominated for a Saturn Award.
Well, what was next for me was this flick called Watchers, and they watched it and it left. Basically, you know, to put it bluntly. It was out for, I think it was 4 days. You know, not a bad movie. The director was John Hess. He was a new director, but he was really cool. You know, he was really focused and really, like, into the ninja karate thing, you know, the whole Tai Chi thing.
Did you fight in this movie, Watchers?
No, but it's about 3 lab experiments, and it's about me having, like, a boot knife and a rifle and going up to a cabin, secluding myself with this lab experiment who is a dog, and then there's 2 monsters after the dog, and to me fighting the world. It's like a mini Rambo, except it's not as good, basically.
I think I'm a good kisser. Oh, I think. From what I've heard, from what I've been told, the feedback I've gotten is you're a great kisser. You're a good kisser. You kiss good.
Call 1-900-909-3300 and hear it straight from Cory.
Call me, 1-900-909-3300. It's very important. I have a lot to tell you guys. Please call me.
Can we talk about something serious for a second? I was going to surprise you with a phone call. I had my phone and everything ready, and I was going to call your 1-800-Cory. Oh, no. It's weird, but I called it because I wanted to hear what it was like, and I figured it was going to be like, hi, it's Cory, and I like Japanese women with big breasts, and I was looking for something, you know, like that. And on a serious note, you had some advice on drugs for teens, and you talked about your own personal life.
Yeah, I got messed up for a little while. I've been clean. Today's my 2 weeks first day clean. So, you know, it's a start, you know. I had some advice, you know, but it's really not, you know, like substantial advice, because I was, you know, I guess reloaded while I was giving the advice, you know, then.
By the end of 1988, Cory's crack and cocaine use had driven him, in his own words, out of whack. The March 1989 release of Dream a Little Dream was overshadowed by industry reports of the 17-year-old's drug use becoming problematic.
Another teenage movie that belongs on our hit list is Dream a Little Dream, which was especially dishonest in its advertising. This was another one of those mind and body swap movies where Jason Robart Jr.'s mind got transferred to Corey Feldman's body. But to believe the TV ads, the movie was all about Feldman, and the grown-up Robards wasn't even in it.
Oh my God.
Dream a Little Dream was probably the biggest bomb, but the highest concept, but had a huge afterlife in cable and video and everything else.
Cory made a personal appearance at a Just Say No event at Knott's Berry Farm.
How long have you been involved in doing this Dare to Keep Kids Off of Drugs program thing?
Before I've been clean, and while I was messed up, I was not involved anymore, and then, you know, I'm clean again in 1 month, and 2 months today.
Cory, let me ask you a question. You opened up the mic on that certain subject. Now, of course, everybody knows you were involved with drugs at one time, and you kicked the habit, and you are now here to speak against drugs. What kind of advice would you have any kid in the audience that might be involved with drugs right now that is trying to kick the habit? Do you have any advice for anybody?
Well, I'll just tell you guys why I quit. I almost died. It was not fun. Stay off drugs. I don't care. Go dancing. Go do anything.
The situation quickly deteriorated as the 1,000-plus overzealous fans who showed up overtook security, and Cory had to be whisked away by the fire marshal. But throughout the summer of 1989, no work came in. The excess free time made relapse all but inevitable. Cory checked into rehab for the first of 15 treatment episodes.
When excessive anxiety and tension are interfering with rehabilitative efforts,
Valium, diazepam can help the transition back to work, back to a more normal life. Valium works promptly to relieve excessive anxiety and apprehension. Side effects other than drowsiness, fatigue, and ataxia are rarely encountered. Within days, the typical patient feels significantly calmer, better able to cope with his condition, more open to rehabilitative measures.
At this facility, Corey was prescribed Valium, unknowingly trading out his cocaine abuse for dependence on benzodiazepines.
Okay. You're welcome. But I got a pour.
In October, he was put to work on another Teens in Cars comedy, Dream Machine, which was filmed in Salt Lake City. The hope was that being away from LA would help Corey stay on track. That November, Corey released a self-promotional documentary video called Me, Myself, and I. In an effort to show he was both physically fit and fully camera ready, Corey is depicted playing softball and hockey in what is presented as a day in his life at the time.
See, we played baseball today. From the baseball, did a little driving. My car, from the car, played some tennis with some guy named Shane. It was pretty good. It was actually very good. Then took a little dip in my pool, me and my duck.
Lost Boys co-star Brooke McCarter wrote the script and co-directed. Producers William Boyd and Michael Schwartz's other lone credit was the Just Say No funded anti-drug video Nightmare on Drug Street that same year. However, Corey often appears unfocused throughout, and his monologues trail off in moments that leave the viewer with the impression he may still be under the influence.
And now I think we're just basically going to be sitting on the couch and talking about something. So tune in next time. Same place, same Haim channel, right here. Thank you. Well, as far as my fans out there being, and like, help Corey, you know, where's our Corey, and, you know, the whole misconception thing from the people out there, you know, they have every right to feel the way they do, and things are great with me. As you see, I'm very in good shape now, and on the ball. Things are happening. I'm trying to get in the habit of, you know, picking up a book, learning how to write my feelings down. Not my feelings, but my thoughts about things. And hopefully I'll be moving towards the writing and directing thing soon. As far as what I really like in today's music, I'm into that Japanese funk, that pop funk. You know, I think Prince is the future, a lot of other things. I'm just really into that funky, hip, pop, jam thing. What does kissing really mean to me? To me, if you feel, when you kiss a girl, that certain feeling of all those dolphins, like, swimming through your bloodstream, and you get this good tingles inside your stomach, I don't think there's anything better than kissing, because it basically comes to, I guess, the word love. I guess that what it's all about. Yeah, if I had a special kind of a message to say to my fans, probably be stay on course. You know, it's there's so many obstacles in life, and just, you know, it might hurt, you might feel great one minute, you know, there's a lot of feelings while you're growing up, there's a lot of questions you have while you're growing up, and if you take things slow, everything will be answered, and everything should work out fine as long as you keep in touch with yourself.
Falling down with my every tear, and begging me to wash away my fears, and telling me it's fallen this way for 8,000 years.
Act 2.
On the streets of the future, a new breed of warrior is rising. A deadly paramilitary gang has taken control, and only one young hero has the courage to stop them.
Prayer of the Roller Boys was described by its screenwriter, W. Peter Iliff, as A Clockwork Orange meets Blade Runner via Lord of the Flies. Set in a dystopian near-off future, the indie film's cyberpunk component is largely implied in the aesthetic, but it nonetheless attempted to be ultra-contemporary by heavily featuring inline skating, which had begun to take off in popularity by 1990.
Inline skates have taken over the country, and Prayer of the Roller Boys will be fueled by an overwhelming built-in consumer demand, thanks to the hottest new fitness trend in this century.
Corey did most of his own stunt work for the movie, and he clearly would have liked to see his career evolve towards action roles.
Post-critic Rex Reed says his talents don't seem to recognize limitations. Haim is moving into the fast lane, according to People magazine, and millions of teenagers are watching his every move.
After filming for Roller Boys completed in April 1990, Corey went straight to work on his first direct-to-video title, Fast Getaway. Brooke McCarter, who also worked on the soundtrack for the movie, had taken over as Corey's manager by this point. Prayer of the Roller Boys premiered at the Milan Film Festival in October 1990 and saw a video release that following March. Capitalizing on the popularity of Saved by the Bell, NBC reran Roomies that summer during their Saturday morning programming block. That August, Corey starred in his next direct-to-video offering, Oh What a Night. In this coming-of-age comedy, adult minor romantic pairings are again normalized, as Corey's 17-year-old character Eric becomes smitten with an older woman. His love interest, Barbara Williams, had played Corey's mom a few years earlier in Watchers. Dream Machine was released on video that November, a full 2 years after it had been shot. Corey began work on his next movie, The 00 Kid, in March of 1992.
No, I want to know what's going on.
It's classified information. If I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you.
He and co-star Nicole Eggert had dated off and on in the 80s, and the two picked up again while working together.
Sorry I drug you into all this.
It's all right. It's actually been kind of exciting.
Eggert later described the 4-week shoot as a non-stop cycle of on-set medics keeping Corey propped up throughout the day and nights spent in the emergency room begging for narcotics.
It's not as bad as it seems. I don't have time for this. I have to go. Have my money?
A week after production wrapped on The 00 Kid, Corey and Nicole went to work on their next film together. The erotic thriller Blown Away also reunited the two Coreys. Corey Feldman had checked into rehab December of 1990 and completed 9 months at the Cry Help program.
He wouldn't stop doing the coke. You'd sit there and go, Corey, you have a problem here. You're doing cocaine. And he's like, no, I don't have any problem. I don't have any problem.
The scenes were very sexual. I had to be naked a lot of the time.
Blown Away appears to be an effort by Haim and Feldman to break away from teen-oriented roles and into more adult work, with both Coreys as well as Nicole appearing in softcore sex scenes.
Blown Away. Because of the sexual nature of this film, Blown Away will be available in an unrated and in an R-rated version.
Blown Away premiered April 1st, 1993 on HBO.
After years of drug abuse and a string of lower-profile films, Corey was running out of money. In 1993, Haim contacted Michael Bass.
He called me up out of the blue, and he wanted to borrow $5,000. So I said, come on over and I'll see what I can do.
On December 20th, 1992, 3 days before his 21st birthday, the LA Times reported that Corey had gone into a lease option on a Hancock Park mansion with his new business manager, Michael Bass. The article includes a quote from Bass.
"We rushed to get this deal so we could hold our Toy Skis for Totskis party here next year."
Michael Bass, a talent manager with a reputation for turning around troubled careers.
In the 80s, Michael Bass had served 2 years in prison for multiple mail-order fraud schemes he'd operated. After his parole, Bass went into professional boxing as a talent manager, where he made an effort to poach Julio Cesar Chavez from the legendary boxing promoter Don King. Bass attempted to stage a scam charity dinner during the 1990 Oscars. The event purported to benefit Ryan White, a 7-year-old with AIDS who died shortly after, but fell through after Bass neglected to secure a permit for the $70,000 tent they'd set up on Sunset Boulevard. Toyskis for Totskis was to be a charity drive to collect toys from wealthy celebrities that would be distributed to children in need in Moscow. And while thousands of toys were reportedly collected, one invitee became immediately suspicious. Washington Post columnist Art Buchwald received his invitation, which presented itself as coming from actor and, by coincidence, his personal friend Jack Lemmon. On top of misspelling his name, Buchwald was perplexed as to why he was invited to an event that was to include Paramount Pictures president Brandon Tartikoff and hosted by Eddie Murphy, since Buchwald had active lawsuits against both of them at the time. Bass's claim that newly elected Russian President Boris Yeltsin would also attend turned out to be a bridge too far, and the scam quickly unraveled.
Michael Bass, a talent manager with a reputation for turning around troubled careers.
This guy ended up being my manager, and because I was desperate for help, and I needed someone to manage me, or at least be an agent or something, and I couldn't even get that. That's how messed up I was.
On February 5th, 1993, Corey Haim was arrested on charges of terrorism against Michael Bass.
He said, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do this, you've gotten me the wrong kind of work, I've got a very good advice from the manager of Corey Feldman, I'm going to go, he's going to manage me now. And I said, well, Corey, I wish you the best of luck, but you owe me some money, so I'd love to get it back.
I was just on too many drugs one day, and I freaked out. I got like a little BB pellet type gun. It was a replica of like a 9mm, and I just pointed it up at his window.
Bass immediately called the police.
And I just was holding my gun up like this in a hostile position. Cops came in, and they had their guns drawn on me, and last chance, draw. And I said, it's a BB gun. We don't care. Drop your one. And I said, how? And they said, just drop it.
Corey Feldman posted the $250 bail, and the charges were reduced to threatening with a replica handgun.
You put a lot of energy into hiding from your battles. Why don't you put some into facing them?
Corey and Nicole starred in one more movie together, another teen comedy, this time centered around gender swapping. While exact production dates aren't available, Corey was by now in his early 20s as he attempted to portray a high schooler who presents as female at his new school, at first to avoid bullies, later to take advantage of what he regards as privileges of the fair sex. Released on video as Anything for Love, and aired September 13th, 1993, on Fox Night of the Movies as Just One of the Guys, Corey's latest efforts did little to raise his profile in Hollywood.
You and me are friends, right? You gotta help me.
He also starred in Double Switch, a mystery adventure video game for PC and Sega CD that featured full motion video, an innovation for its time. The same studio, Digital Pictures, had also produced the controversial Sega CD game Night Trap, starring Different Strokes star Dana Plato.
National Lampoon presents A Quest for the Meaning of Life.
In the summer of 1993, the two Coreys were teamed up once again, this time for National Lampoon's Last Resort. By 1990, the National Lampoon name had changed hands a number of times and was now owned by J2 Communications, whose specialty was low-budget direct-to-video fare, such as Tim Conway's Dorf series. Between the cheap production values and the lack of on-set discipline, the Coreys once again abused their creative latitude, with Haim gratuitously incorporating techno-nerd elements, and Feldman again indulging his obsession with Moonwalker-era Michael Jackson. That September, a quickie sequel to Fast Getaway was put together. In the 3 years since he'd made the first installment, the toll his drug use had taken on Corey's appearance was particularly noticeable. February of 1994, the Coreys paired up again for Dream a Little Dream 2. Presumably for the sake of continuity, Feldman yet again stylizes himself after Michael Jackson as the two bumble through a half-hearted storyline that this time uses magic sunglasses as the mechanism for body swapping.
As far as being into the musical part of things, I'll slap the headphones on once in a while and dibble-dabble at the keyboards, make some drum effects, things like that.
So you're sitting on my face
Sitting on my face, a rub-a-dub-dub. I can't take your weight, you're 108.
That year, Corey signed a recording deal with Germany-based Edel Records. An album's worth of material was recorded that remains unreleased, though a maxi single of You Give Me Everything was released the following year.
I don't want anything, I just want you. It's a hard time you let me through. Come on, baby, let's waste no time. Lay your body right next to mine. We'll do all those things we be dreaming of. Everything that's sent from above, I'll fill you up, you know, with my love. Just the way you've been thinking of.
In 1995, he appeared in another coming-of-age romantic comedy drama, Life 101, this time playing a college freshman in the 1960s. In September, he starred in an action thriller, Demolition High, along with Alan Thicke and Dick Van Patten. In an interview for Big Gay Horror Fan in 2014, director Jim Wynorski remarked,
Corey Haim was a nice kid who was totally fucked up in the head. You could see the path he was going down even then. I wish I could have turned him down, but I had to have a paid babysitter with him all the time. Believe it or not, he had to have a babysitter. This kid was in his early 20s and still didn't have it figured out yet.
Corey also starred in a slasher film, Fever Lake, alongside Mario Lopez.
Snowboarding, it's new, it's happening, it's hot, it's fresh.
In February 1996, Corey filmed another action movie, Snowboard Academy, in Quebec.
God, I miss the equator.
Starring Jim Varney, star of the highly successful Burn films.
He had a supporting role in the Canadian dramedy Never Too Late. In a 2005 Q&A for Entertainment Weekly, Corey disclosed that actor Cloris Leachman had told him,
That smirk you have is cute, but sometimes it looks a little fake.
That year he also appeared in an action comedy called Shooter on the Side. In May 1996, production began on what could be regarded as Corey Feldman's Citizen Kane. How exactly the exceedingly raunchy sex comedy Busted came to be, and how Feldman came to be the director, remains a mystery. Screenwriter Ronald Jacobs' background had been as a producer on the Danny Thomas and Andy Griffith shows. According to Feldman, he hired Haim for the film out of want to help out a friend, but after Corey's ongoing substance use continued to render him unreliable on set, Feldman had to fire him, one of the toughest decisions of his lifetime. It is wholly unknown if Corey had any knowledge ahead of time that Dominic Brascia, Feldman's longtime close friend and now housemate, the two had recently moved into a home in Encino together, was part of the cast.
It makes you look whoa.
In July 1996, trouble caught up with Corey again. Haim was sued by Lloyd's of London, who insured the actor during the production of the 1993 film Paradise Bar. The underwriters claim Corey lied about his problems with drugs and cost them several $100,000 when he bailed out of the film. Corey filed for bankruptcy on July 25, 1997. He owed more than $100,000 to the IRS, $100,000 in state taxes, and a variety of medical expenses.
That fall, Haim took an uncredited cameo part on Joel Schumacher's Batman and Robin for Union Scale. He shot a sequel to Demolition High, Demolition University, and appeared in bit parts in Wishmaster 2 and the TV movie Merlin in 1997, before retreating to Toronto and isolating himself in an apartment for over a year. Act 3.
In early 1998, Corey Haim decided to take a break from Hollywood. Corey moved in with his father in Montreal, Canada. Corey's dad was ill-prepared for the responsibility of caring for his drug-addled son.
I don't understand drugs, to be honest with you. I don't. I understand it affects people a different way. I do. I've learned how to accept that. I just find that's a weakness in a person. And if you can't help yourself, then go get some help.
It was a situation that just didn't work out for Corey or his dad. Corey describes this period as his rock bottom.
Taking a swing at my dad, being so high, and ending up in a major psychotic ward, locked in this facility where it was not the right place for me. Because I wasn't crazy, I'm just a drug addict.
In March 2000, an article was published in the University of Regina's student newspaper, The Carillion. The author, Cabral Rock, had worked as a third assistant director on a TV movie, working title A Lucky Shot, filmed in Saskatchewan, that starred 29-year-old Corey Haim in what was described as his cinematic comeback. In it, Corey plays Marty, an ex-drug addict who gets involved in a murder cover-up, in what he regarded as a transition stage for me as an actor.
Think you can handle it?
Hey, I'm trying to kick heroin. I mean, you know what that's like?
I'm sure it's tough.
Yeah, it must be tough. Here's a little story for you. One time in the joint, this young ace tried to hoop in some China white, right?
Hoop?
Yeah, hoop. It's, you know, you put the heroin in a little baggie and you swallow it and you crap it out later. Anyway, this one addict, I mean, he just couldn't handle it anymore. He's freaking out, you know, so he just carved it right out of the dealer's gut.
During the 3-week shoot, Corey racked up a $1,700 tab at the local bar, where he opened up to the writer about his experiences. The article mentions instances of Corey suddenly pausing the production to call back home to Toronto so he could check in on his dog's well-being, along with medical incidents which would require emergency prescriptions to be filled. These included a reported tooth infection, along with twice getting a dart thrown through his hand. Without Malice debuted on TMN the Movie Network in Canada in late 2000.
Corey received another break when friend and first-time director Francois Garcia tailored his independent film Universal Groove specifically for Haim.
In other words, Garcia wrote in a part for Corey.
I wanted to have that, make that transition from teenager to adult.
Hey, wait. It's a candy cane connection. So, you know, if you want, I could try to hook you up with them, I mean, if you're interested, you know?
Nah. I had candy for breakfast.
Hey here, man. Hey, you dog.
Corey also guest starred on the YTV series Big Wolf on Campus. In the episode Blame It on the Haim, Corey plays himself in town to shoot a vampire movie, only to turn out to be a vampire himself.
So back off!
Cut! Thanks. You guys just messed up my scene. Appreciate that. Security! Get these 3 kids...
Decaf lattes, all around, please. Hi, Corey.
Oh, yeah, you're Corey Haim.
The sunglasses at night guy?
No, that was Corey Hart. Corey Haim was a big star in the 80s, and then... Corey, you want to take it from here?
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's not much to add. I mean, you know, one day you're a lost boy, you know, you're talking to town, and, you know, next day you're up here in Pleasantville and you're shooting another vampire movie.
Vampire movie? Let me guess. A modernization of Bram Stoker's Dracula? Or a dark epic in the tradition of Nosferatu?
No, actually, this one is Sorority Vampire Beach Party.
Sounds like an instant classic.
Listen, I'm sorry I yelled at you guys back there. How about I show you around the set?
Sure.
Yeah.
Come on.
Wow, so you're the writer, producer, director, and star of this film?
Yeah, look, I know it sounds egotistical, okay? But look, I mean, every dollar I can save on this production, I could donate to Corey's kids.
Corey's kids?
Yeah, it's a charity I started for underprivileged children. It's no big deal.
That's so sweet.
I asked Corey a very good question. Do you have a dream? Yes. What is your dream, Corey? I want to win an Academy Award. So I started laughing. I said, of all the dreams that you picked, this is the only one that's doable for you. But it can't be done in Montreal. You get your rear end back to LA and start at the top floor and say, hi, I'm Corey Haim. I want to go back to work. I've been a naughty little boy, but I'm a good boy now.
Corey briefly returned again to LA, hoping to stage a comeback. In April 2001, Corey filmed another direct-to-video title, The Backlot Murders.
Doesn't it bother you to have to depend on someone like that for your career?
Oh, baby, all rockers are the same, you know? They're all immature, they're insane. I mean, they're irresponsible, they're bastards. That's including me, baby.
Yeah, but they sure look good.
Yeah, well, you do too. All right, let's go searching. Come on.
In July, E! Network caught up with him to discuss comeback plans.
One was for, and it was below zero. I mean, you know, Toronto, you know, winter. Extra, read all about it, you know.
And then the other thing was a furniture bankruptcy, and it was like 10 below zero in Toronto, Canada. I had to stand outside with this newspaper hat on and a newspaper bag around me. And it's like, extra, read all about it, furniture bankruptcy is going out, so come get it now before it's all gone, you know, blah, 30-second thing, and it was over, and I never saw either of them.
You know, going out of business and get now what I can, da-da-da.
2 weeks later, producers asked Haim what happened during that first interview.
Just things weren't going my way. That day. That's it.
The Corey Haim True Hollywood Story premiered. Featured in it was the footage that showed Corey in especially poor shape.
It's been a battle. An absolute battle.
While this original 2001 version of the Corey Haim True Hollywood Story is currently unavailable, I distinctly remember catching it when it aired. I recall vividly that the overall tenor of that edition was one of a washed-up has-been and a cautionary tale on the perils of fame.
It's going to be for the rest of my life an everyday challenge, because sometimes I will get in my mood where I itch, of course. After 16, 17 years, I will itch, you know, and that's the thing. I mean, what can I do?
To occupy his time, Haim played his keyboards and painted.
I just like painting, and it just relaxes me, so that's what you got here, and this is anger art, just like. So that's Corey Haim's anger art.
By this time, Corey had retreated again to Toronto to focus on getting clean.
We don't know karate, but we do know physics. Don't be so bad, your future will be hazel.
In 2003, Corey made a cameo appearance as himself in the David Spade comedy, Dickie Roberts' former child star. The following year, Irish pop band The Thrills released the first single off their second album, Whatever Happened to Corey Haim.
Let's film out of the whole situation, shall we? Before Lost Boys, I met Spielberg for Goonies, for Mouth.
Corey originally had auditioned for the role of mine, Mouth, in the Goonies.
I had no idea who Corey Feldman was, what he did. I didn't even know he existed.
And I'd open the teen magazines to see what they were writing about me that week or whatever. And there's, Corey Haim on every other page,
his name is Corey, my name is Corey, which is a big deal to two 15-year-old kids.
Well, Corey says da-da-da-da-da-da, and Corey Haim is doing da-da-da-da-da. I'd be like, I don't want to hear about this goddamn Corey Haim anymore.
People caught our chemistry, I think. And that's why I think we got, these offers to do all these movies together.
This cast is unbelievable. We've got Corey Feldman, we've got Corey Haim. I was like, what? What?
Our chemistry on screen grew over the years on our movies.
I got this call on my answering machine. It was from Corey. He was like, hey, dude, what's up, man? It's Corey Haim. Hey, listen, buddy, so we're gonna be working together. Right on, bro. Let's become bros. Let's become friends, man. Call me, dude. Let's go hang out. I was like, oh, this guy's a loser. All right.
We just, bang, clicked it and just hit it off.
So I called him up and I said, yeah, what do you want, Haim? And he said, hey, man, let's go hang out, dude.
I think when we hit Dream a Little Dream 2, and this is after like 6 movies, I think we were kind of burnt out on working together so much. Not working together, but just knowing that it was the two Coreys, or those nicknames they would call us, like we invented Hamster and Fell Dog, and it just globally went around the world, and that's how we were known. But it just got a little much, and so we sat down one day and we both were thinking the same thing, and we said the same things to each other, like, it's time we just go our own ways and, go solo for a while. I need to fly alone, you know, I love working with you, but until we do, like, you know, License to Fly or something, you know, I think we should break for a little while. It's been 7 flicks. Let's do our own thing for a while, you know. License to Drive. So many years ago, I think I was 16 and a half in there. I got the picture just by phone call. They just called, and I think Corey Feldman already auditioned for Les Anderson, my part. And I'm not sure if he got it. I'm not sure if they said, yeah, you know, you're the dude, but we have to just do our routine here and make our calls. Corey's a great guy. We've been friends since, I think, about 15. Maybe a little younger, 14 and a half, 15. When we were really, really working together, just him and I, back-to-back movies, you know, when the director or the first AD or wardrobe or hair, whoever would say, Corey, we would know which Corey they were saying if our backs were turned, and that got a little eerie.
In September 2006, A&E Network announced they'd ordered 8 episodes of a new reality television series based around the 2 Coreys. Corey Feldman had already become a fixture of the genre. He was a cast member on The Surreal Life for the first season, the finale of which featured Feldman marrying girlfriend Susie Sprague.
I am an icon. I am an establishment. More than an actor, more than a musician, I've become a celebrity.
The new series, at the time called The Coreys: Return of the Lost Boys, was described this way.
Here's Corey Feldman. He's married. He's a working actor. He's a neat freak. Here is Corey Haim. He's single. He's unemployed. He's a slob. Now, Haim is staying with Feldman while he jumpstarts his career and his life. Can 2 former heartthrobs and a wife share a house without driving each other crazy?
E! aired a revised edition of the Corey Haim True Hollywood story with a tacked-on update at the end.
By 2004, Corey insisted he'd finally kicked drugs for good, but there was a downside. He then packed on flat. After getting clean and sober, Corey's weight ballooned to 302 pounds. Again, he seemed out of control. Haim battled back with diet and exercise. He shed more than 100 pounds in less than a year. Today, the former lost boy is back.
Filming for season 1 of The 2 Coreys began June 11th, 2007. The first season episodes present as lighthearted reality fare, typical of its time. In the background, casting for the hotly anticipated Lost Boys 2 serves as a plot thread for narrative drama. Things take a turn, however, during a season finale showdown at Arts Delicatessen, when Corey broaches the subject of molestation.
What was I telling you? Wait, it was really important.
Season 2 of the 2 Coreys, Lost Boys, he talked trash to the media. He was high about it. The diner scene.
The diner scene. Okay, so we hadn't talked for a while, and then we do this diner scene, and he's like blowing up on me and like trying to throw everything in my face, and I'm like, what are you doing right now? Because we had a contract, and the contract said we weren't going to talk about the molestation. That was a taboo. That was a no boundary, don't do it thing.
Your molestation or his?
His, both. Okay. So nothing to do with sex. And he was like, me too, nothing to do with sex. So that means no molestations, no anything. We agreed on that. So that was the look of shock on my face when he goes, what about the time when you let me get
raped by the guy you used to hang out with?
Got
and
it.
I'm like,
because it wasn't.
This confrontation serves as the inflection point to the considerably darker Season 2. The climax of the 10th second season comes when Corey is set to film his part for Lost Boys 2, and it's here that putting events in chronological order reveals the duplicitousness A&E employed in constructing a narrative for Season 2. On February 7th, 2008, in the spirit of making amends, Corey took out a full-page ad in Variety stating, "This is not a stunt. I'm back." In Season 2, this takes place in Episode 4. Episode 5 then shows Corey on the set of Lost Boys, which had actually been filmed back in August and September of 2007, at the time Season 1 was airing on A&E.
Anything else?
I need some garlic, I need some steaks, I need some holy water. Yeah, I need to prep, man, okay? That's what I need.
Do you really think that after all these years, I'm just gonna let this go like nothing ever happened between us?
There's more important things happening here. Grow up. I'm here to help.
Corey is shown struggling considerably with his lines.
Whatever the line. What's my line, sir? I'm sorry. What's the line, sir? I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, don't worry.
No. What's the line? What is it?
There's no hope for him. That's what happens when you don't care. You don't try.
Have you seen him?
And as the crew become more impatient, he shuts down and goes back to his trailer.
Let's have a cigarette, please, so I can just take a 2-minute break.
What exactly happens next is less clear. The broadcast edit implies Corey begins snorting an unspecified hard drug, kicking off another relapse.
Do you think he's using again?
What Corey tries to clarify during the intervention in episode 8 with Pauly Shore and Todd Bridges is that he'd taken an extra Ativan, which was currently being prescribed to him.
I had a slip, but one day I had a mental block. I took, Ativan. I took an extra 0.5 so I could just relax. I'm very hyper, dude.
What the hot mic seems to catch was that Corey had snorted them, in all likelihood a common practice for him.
That film, and I'm not going to tell you the whole story, it's just he knew the whole time, I'm assuming, I was in Lost Boys 2. It's already been aired, I'm not. So I had to produce that emotion about a half hour later, which I produced in the office off camera, and I just had to and it was a bad day for me, and until whatever ago, there was no Lost Boys 2 without me. So to me, that's just a backstab. So I have issues right now. Another guy in the world named Corey, that's all. You know how it is when you have an old brother? But nah, man, he's cool.
Could you tell us a little bit of your thoughts of the Tribe, which is the sequel?
God bless the crew and the cast, but I just thought the movie was a waste of time.
Mm-hmm.
Just went right to DVD, no Joel Schumacher, the power of... We really didn't have the power of what we had on the first one, so it was just kind of a quick fix, if you will.
Quick fix, yeah. So you think the studio didn't give it any love then?
None.
For movies, such movies as Lost Boys and and you and the Goonies, right?
No, that's
no. That's filming. See, Corey, yeah.
Well,
there you go.
9 movies together.
Yeah. So what other movies, man?
I don't even think he knows there's a problem. Yeah, that's how messed up that boy is. I'm just tired of him right now, man. It's cool. Is there a way I can reach through the camera and actually dig in? Okay. MTV Live, boom!
So what else are you doing?
I got Crank 2 hitting theaters. I had Crank 2 High Voltage hitting theaters.
Despite his firing from Lost Boys 2, Corey was able to land a supporting role in Crank High Voltage.
You want to drop the hammer, baby?
I'm in no mood today, Randy!
I don't know if it's laugh, cry, I don't know what to do. I just feel really good. First take was good. Happy. First scene was great. I'm in shock and still in mode of being in the scene still, so it was good. Got an extra cigarette partner, and this kid right here blew my mind. Wonderful acting with him. So the first take was, couldn't be happier. God.
But now, at 36 years old, Corey's discovered the key to turning things around.
Not in an egotistical way, boasting way. I just feel like I'm taking the right choices that are being offered to me and utilizing them properly this time rather than going, yeah, just take it, it's work.
His latest choice, signing on to star in the Canadian comedy Shark City.
He's a lot of fun, he's got a great heart, he's unpredictable, which adds excitement to everything.
He's excited, and it's good to see him excited about this. I think it's going to be something very good for him.
That kind of support has Corey looking at life in a much more positive light.
You make lemons and lemonade. No, I'm going to make lemons and a pink lemonade out of this one. You take the supporting role and turn it into hopefully a Screen Actors Guild or Academy Award winning or Sundance,
award for Best Actor or Supporting Actor. Just happy to be filming, to be honest with you. Just feel like this is a comeback. I feel like I am back.
After filming his parts that summer, Corey returned to Toronto to shoot his next feature, Shark City. Corey appeared as himself in the made-in-Tucson comedy Trade-In.
Yeah, you're Corey Haim. Yeah, you got people to do, places to go.
As well as a detective in the indie crime drama New Terminal Hotel.
Former teen idol Corey Haim is happy to be back in a leading man role in the made-for-TV movie American Sunset.
It is a thriller. A little twist.
In 2009, Corey shot his last 2 screen appearances. A Taken clone titled The Hostage Game,
I want my wife back!
or American Sunset, and a heist caper called Decisions.
Look, what I do with my snitch is none of your business, you rookie bitch.
Dave, it's been a long day. Silver briefcase, money, mine, where is it? Now!
It's under the couch, baby, just give him the money.
That was Corey Haim on the set of his final film, Decisions.
I love it! I love being at the Playboy Mansion. This is Corey Haim's first time at the Playboy Mansion.
I feel like a virgin.
I'm bringing him up here for the first time to indoctrinate him into Hef's world. Very excited.
LA officials say Corey Haim died Wednesday at this hospital at age 38. Authorities say he collapsed in front of his mother at this apartment complex, and she called paramedics. Police say there will be an autopsy and that there is no evidence of foul play.
Friends and family of former Canadian child star Corey Haim said farewell at a funeral near Toronto today. About 200 people attended the funeral, paid for in part by donations.
Haim was laid to rest today where he grew up, full of dreams, in Ontario.
A private family funeral for a very public life. Family and friends gathered for an invitation-only funeral service for actor Corey Haim in Thornhill, north of Toronto today. 35-year-old Jennifer Madden has had a crush on Haim since she was 13. The nurse from Philadelphia calls herself a superfan. She actually drove 9 hours north to Toronto for the event.
I wasn't going to come at first, and because I don't want to disrespect the family, and I know that it's private, and I had a feeling I wouldn't be able to get in. I wasn't going to try to force my way in or anything. But as long as I was like near where it was, then that's all I needed.
Family friend Heather Lycombe once dated Haim. They met in 2001.
Corey had times where he was up and down. It was no secret. He didn't keep it a secret either. He was open. He was very candid about it. And, you know, we all have battles. We don't have cameras in our faces. He did all his entire life. But this was a really good time. Like, he was doing well.
So now, did you work with him like either in movies or TV or?
No, I just booked him in personal appearances. Okay. Yeah.
So in dealing with him that way, well, I guess I think I know the answer to this, but was he difficult or easy going, or what, as far as his commitments?
Well, let's put it this way: when he was clean, he was lovely and sweet and showed up and did his job and was lovely with the fans and so on. But unfortunately, a couple of times he would make connections while he was at the show, and we'd have to take him to the hospital or whatever. I mean, the biggest problem is we were always afraid that when he would make a lot of money that he would slip back. So it was, on one hand, you want to help him, get him work, and then you would see him get the money, and then he would go back down that road again. So he had a problem.
This is a very serious announcement and problem, and that is the abuse of prescription drugs. In this case, we have done the research. We have uncovered the fact that Corey Haim actually obtained 553 dangerous drugs in just this year, and as late as 5 days before he died. He went to 7 different doctors. He went to 7 different pharmacies. And this is emblematic of the abuse of these dangerous prescription drugs. Things start out as, in many cases, legal. Someone has a pain. They take a painkiller. Pretty soon they become addicted, and then the cycle starts. And this is really the life of Corey Haim. He is the poster child of this problem, and what is concerning is there's more of these drug-addicted, doctor-shopping abusers.
Authorities won't say who they've arrested in connection with Corey Haim's death, but they say the arrest is linked to a massive prescription drug ring.
We have a prescription that was fraudulently obtained for Vicodin in the name of Corey Haim, okay? And an individual connected with that operation has now been arrested. That's what we know.
I can tell you that the number one problem in Hollywood was and is and always will be pedophilia. That's the biggest problem for children in this industry.
The casting couch even applies to children.
Oh yeah. Not in the same way. It's all done under the radar.
Nobody talks about pedophilia.
Oh my God, they were everywhere like vultures.
Vultures who Feldman says abused him and his best friend, the late child actor Corey Haim. Feldman says the trauma of that pedophilia contributed to Haim's death.
There's one person to blame in the death of Corey Haim, and that person happens to be a Hollywood mogul. And that person needs to be exposed, but unfortunately I can't be the one to do it. But the person that knows who did it and knows who he is watching right now, I guarantee you.
Feldman won't name names. We contacted Corey Haim's mother. In an email, she said, "I'm not willing to discuss or respond to anything Corey Feldman has to say. I wish he would talk about himself only and leave my son out of it."
I'm saying that there are people that were the people that did this to both me and Corey that are still working, they're still out there, and they're some of the richest, most powerful people in this business.
And they are.
And they do not want me saying what I'm saying right now.
You're still known, even now, as the cokehead Corey, which must be quite galling. How do you try and shrug that off? How do you get over the partying side when it's such a small part of your life, really?
You know, Pierce, I think I tried to shrug it off for the last 20 years, but that didn't work. So instead, I've written a book. This is murky water, folks.
What kind of ridicule are you? I mean, you just telling your life, man.
My God, bro.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Okay, first off, they got me twisted to the 19th millionth power.
Yeah.
Corey Haim's mom has been coming out against me, saying that I'm making up lies. She's trying to say because I said, you know, he made some advances towards me when we were kids.
Yeah.
He didn't know what was right from wrong. You can't go and persecute him for that. That is not okay. You know what I mean? But she's saying that I'm saying that he's gay. When did I say he was gay? No, man, I'm not gay, okay? This is just what guys do. It's totally normal. Why don't we just do it? Why don't we just touch each other or something? Why don't we just mess around, man? I mean, like, we're both right here. Look at my dick, dude. It's, like, rock hard right now. Unfortunately, as we all have our own legal ramifications, there are certain things that the publisher's lawyers would not allow to be left in.
I heard you name names.
Originally, I did,
and
yeah.
then your book publisher took the names out. Because of statute of limitations or something.
Well, it's legality. See, everybody wants to put the blame on me. Why aren't you putting the names out there? Why are you protecting them? I'm not protecting nobody. Every time I had seen Tony Burnham at one of Ralphie's parties, he would be on and on about Corey Haim, about how good-looking Haim was, and how much he wanted to meet him. At that moment, I wasn't thinking about the fact that Tony was an adult and Haim was a minor. I was thinking that I would do just about anything to get Haim to shut up and to stop him from hitting on me.
Feldman claims Haim endured more than him. In his book Choreography, he alleges that Haim was raped on the set of the 1986 film Lucas.
What I'm proposing is a plan that I believe can literally change the entertainment system as we know it. And I believe that I can also bring down, potentially, a pedophile ring that I've been aware of since I was a child.
On Wednesday, actor and musician Corey Feldman unveiled his plan to expose alleged pedophile rings in Hollywood.
Right off the bat, I can name 6 names.
Feldman posting the video after launching an online campaign aimed at raising $10 million to fund his plan to reveal what he calls the truth.
I propose to do this by making a film that'll be the most honest and true depiction of child abuse ever portrayed.
But this morning, Feldman's latest proclamation drawing criticism from Haim's mother, Judy, who tells NBC News she wants her son's name left out of it, saying, quote, "If he finally decides to release names and tell the world who they are for the sake of more victims, I will be 100% behind him. But if he's waiting to release the names in the movie, I don't support that. He doesn't need $10 million to do it."
Why wouldn't you just come out and name names if you believe there are active pedophiles hurting little boys right now?
Absolutely.
In Hollywood.
And believe me, I would love the pain to stop today.
But there are a stream of accusers come forward in Harvey Weinstein and other cases. They do name names, even though they may be outside of the statute and so on, because they want to out the person as a harasser.
A lot of them took a deal to keep their mouths shut. They took a deal to go along with these forward advances so that they could help their careers. But I wasn't awarded that opportunity. Neither was my partner. We never were given an opportunity to possibly get an upside for our victimization. We were
right now, the
abused.
upside is protecting other little boys
We were
right now.
abused. It's not my place to go out and name the name of his abuser because it didn't happen to me.
But you seem to be saying if you get the $10 million and make the movie, you will do that.
In fact, I know of a friend of mine that actually went and spoke to a reporter and gave all the information, and they were, the day before I launched my campaign, they were supposed to put out a story in the Inquirer, and they came to me for a comment, and I said no comment.
Charlie Sheen is suing the National Enquirer over the sex story that they ran about him a few months back. The key person in that is someone named Dominic Brascia.
And they also used the testimony of a guy named Dominic
Brascia.
However, here's the twist. Brascia has actually been accused of molesting Corey Haim himself about a year ago. Yes, which he has flat out denied.
I hear Corey Haim's mom says that she doesn't think that
she does not believe any of it.
When my son was 13, he's not going to go and ask Charlie Sheen to go and sleep with him.
People want to believe that it was something that happened on Lucas. People want to, it wasn't. Like I was on the set of Lucas every day for the entire shoot.
We may as well address it now. We're talking about the Charlie Sheen allegation, and you were there, and
I was there. I have to tell you that this guy
Dominic Brascia
is the guy that abused my son.
What I said was that I was going to be exposing the people that did the things to me and to my best friend.
Are you going to name names in this new documentary?
Well, I suppose you're going to have to watch it to find out now, aren't you? But I assure you that I won't let my fans down, and I won't let down my best friend. I promised my best friend 10 years ago, on the day of this anniversary, will be the 10-year anniversary of his death, unfortunately. And I promised him 1 year before that, 1 year before his death, that I would tell his story if, for any reason, he were to die before I was. And I made that promise, and I've kept that promise, and that promise is going to come in the form of a worldwide, live, global pay-per-view event, where for the first time, people can watch the premiere of a film which will only show this one time. As of now, we have no other future plans to show it. It's a one-time event.
Where's this documentary available?
It's not anymore.
Oh, it's not.
I had to pull it. Because of the safety of my life and my family. You know, there was 2 attempts on my life. You know, basically what happened was they sent some spies into my life, which are the girls that were part of my Angel tour. A couple of the musicians were not actual musicians. They were spies that were put into my life to cause mayhem and destruction. So what happened was I spent $1.3 million making this film.
And people had to pay to stream
pay-per-view, right.
Was it successful?
It would have been had we not gotten hacked and pirated.
Okay.
Okay, so as the film started, all of a sudden the thing froze, and people all over the world who paid money to see the film could not see it because there was an interruption of service. It's called a DDoS server attack.
Okay.
So we got a DDoS server attack that shut down the film, shut down the stream. They actually copied it. They stole the stream. They copied the script. And then they created a subsidiary website that was like a copycat website that went up literally live the moment our stream came down. Like I put my truths instead of my truth by accident, and you click on it and it's an actual website, but it's not our website. And they started selling tickets for $30 versus us who were charging $20 for the ticket. So they're taking the same movie, same stream. It was up for 3 months before we even knew about it. They didn't expect that I would have 2 separate copies. So we had the copy that was streaming for the whole world to see, and then we had a separate copy that was the premiere copy at the DGA. So I actually stopped the film 15 minutes in and said, look, guys, I don't know if I should finish the movie because it's been hacked online, and it's not really fair to all the people who paid to not get to see the movie at the same time as you.
Yeah, well, but I'm confused why it's,
to be clear,
where is it now?
The way they liquidated the movie and made it worthless was by putting it out for free all over YouTube. So 250,000 views at $20 a pop. How much money is that?
250,000 views at $20 a pop. 5 million?
More. Try 50 million.
Wait, 250?
50 million.
I'm bad at math.
250,000 views at $20 a pop.
It's 50 million.
I think it's 5.
It's 5 million.
20 divided by 4.
Yeah, it's because
divided by 250 though.
Well, but it's a quarter million.
250 times 2 is 500,000.
Maybe I'm good at
And then
math.
you add 1 0 because it's a 20, so it's 5 million.
I don't think so. But the point is, altogether, it came out to like $80 million.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a lucrative business play.
I think one of the moments in my life that I remember, I guess that kind of made me sense that first step towards the film industry, was probably in Toronto, Canada, after I did a little TV series called The Edison Twins. It was funny because I did 2 commercials after I did a TV series, and I think the second commercial, when I was standing outside in like 20 below zero weather, snow everywhere, a cap on, a newspaper thing, standing in front of a big old abandoned furniture store, and all I had to say was extra, extra, furniture bankruptcy, read all about it. And it was so cold, and I think it was a director that said, "You're great, and someday, you know, I think you're gonna go places." I don't remember his name or anything, but I think that was the first moment of impact for me, where I really felt something.
Thank you.
Is that it? All right, it's a wrap.
Thanks for watching.
You might be younger, but you'll soon be older, and everybody sometimes needs a shoulder for some answers.